What's up guys, Ruppy here, and welcome to the start of Season 4 of the UNPL. As I explained in my draft analysis video, this time around we are in the Naranja division. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I know a bit of Spanish, I am not the best at Spanish pronunciation sometimes. Hard to get the tongue to roll. Anyway, this is week 1, our team is all ready to go. You see us kind of camping out here in, at the Crystal Pool in Kitakami. I know Teal Mask came out a while ago, we're in Indigo Disc territory now, but I felt it was appropriate to come to the Crystal Pool and reflect a bit, considering, well, last season had a lot of ups and downs. I had a really good team that, in hindsight, I did not utilize to the best of its abilities. So, I have brought my roster for today to hopefully reflect on that and see if we can gel as a team and get something going here. For our first week in the UNPL this season, we are taking on the New York Metas, coached by Meta Maxis. Let's go ahead and flip on over to Pokemon Showdown, aka my chalkboard, and we're gonna see what we're cooking with today. His team will be appearing off to the right. His roster is as follows: Volcarona, Iron Bundle, Galarian Slowking, Rillaboom, Sinistcha, Heatran, Mesprit, Alolan Sandslash, Wigglytuff, Bombardier, Glalie, and Ampharos. His Tera captains are Sinistcha, which can Tera into a Ghost, Fairy, or Steel type, Mesprit, who can Tera into a Psychic, Electric, or Fire type, and Glalie, who can Tera into an Ice, Ghost, or Ground type. First thing I noticed about this roster: 2 seasons in the UNPL, and this is the 2nd season in a row where my very first game pits me against a team with both Iron Bundle and a Tera Captain Sinistcha on it. What are the odds? Iron Bundle, obviously, it hits really hard because it's Bundle. Volcarona hits stupidly hard as well. That thing is always a menace if you do not take care of it. Galarian Slowking, I think my track record with Slowkings as a whole kind of speaks for itself at this point. This mon, ever since it got chilly reception with this gen, has been an absolute nuisance that drives me up a wall. So I guess maybe it's a good thing I'm getting this one out of the way first. Rillaboom is a mon I know quite well from all the way back in Season 2 of BBR. I'm sure everyone remembers my Rillalucha team. So I know this mon fairly well and what it is capable of, even if Grassy Glide did get a bit nerfed this gen. Obviously, with Galarian Slowking being able to set up Snow through Chilly Reception, he has a Alolan Sandslash to try to take advantage of it. He's got some threats on this team. But, after a while of thinking about it, I think I've got a team that is able to actually do something about this. So let's go down the line, and we are going to start with my Skeledirge, Dolores. This name is in memory of one of my all-time favorite singers, Dolores O'Riordan, the lead singer of the Cranberries. May her soul rest in peace. Skeledirge is here to basically, well, be the titular zombie from that song, and basically be here to not die, I guess, while kind of rebelling against what Maxis is hoping to throw at me. I've got Torch Song and Shadow Ball for offense, just dual stab. Slack Off and Substitute allows me to get behind a sub to kind of scout things, get my health back with Heavy Duty Boots. I am not afraid of any hazards he could set. I am more specially leaning, but overall the bulk in this set is here to allow Skeledirge to just sit in here, eat hits, boost up with Torch Song. I am aware that Heatran is a potential problem because of Flash Fire, but I can chip away at it with Shadow Ball if need be. The biggest reason I brought Skeledirge to this game is because of Unaware. Because Maxis has things that can boost, like Volcarona, like Mesprit actually, like Sinistcha. These are mons that Skeledirge can honestly just sit in here on, and no matter how much they boost, Dolores just will not care. She will sing her song, fire off Shadow Balls, and just be an undying menace. Shout out to the Queen. Next on the docket, since we are going more bulk this game, I figured, why not bring my Electros power line? Because, well, Electros kind of looks like a power line a bit. The spelling, there's a reference to an old movie, the Goofy movie. Good movie, go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. It's actually a really good movie. Anyway, Electros is here to basically be an Assault Vest menace. It is more physically leaning, actually, because I have Drain Punch. That one is mostly so I am not kind of walled by Heatran. Knockoffs gets rid of items. Dragon Tail allows me to phase things out like the aforementioned setup sweepers that I have Skeldurge for. Just in case I feel like Skeldurge is not a good switch in at that point, or if I have lost Skeldurge, I have a backup option. Just to keep them from being able to set up too much. Volt Switch allows me to pivot because unless he brings Glalie and goes Tera Ground with it, he has no ground immunity, so I can freely Volt Switch all over this team if I wanted to. This Electros set actually tanks pretty much anything that even a Specs Iron Bundle wants to throw at me. So this is my main bundle answer in a sense, especially since I can recover back up with Drain Punch. So that is how I plan to handle the Mechanical Penguin this time around. Running down the line, kind of sad it does not have a Sprite in Showdown yet. My Raging Bolt, Cumulonimbus. I mean, it's a Storm Cloud, not just a big fancy word that Blunder said in that old video that Joey Pokegame put out way back in the day. Really funny video. Cumulonimbus, the Raging Bolt, is basically meant to be an all-purpose wall / menace, kind of like Skeldurge, except with maybe a little more offense. I'm running Thunderclap, Draco Meteor, Thunderbolt, and Earthquake. You're probably questioning Earthquake, especially since, as I have said, I know what Rillaboom and Grassy Surge is able to do. The Grassy Terrain would nerf Earthquake. I decided to go with it anyway, mostly as a means of hitting Ampharos and Heatran, regardless of the terrain. Just because I would not be surprised to see an AV Ampharos that actually eats hits from Raging Bolt surprisingly well. And Heatran, especially bulky Heatran, can take hits from Bolt, but an Earthquake definitely scares it, even with a minus attack nature and Bolt not having the best of attack. Earthquake will still rip a chunk out of Heatran and threaten it. Leftovers for recovery. Thunderclap gives me the priority I need to be able to threaten bundles, so it cannot come in and basically try to fire off an ice attack. It will be ripped apart. Lots to like about this Bolt set. I think it's going to put in some good work this game. Next up is Wrath the Gyarados. Good old shiny red Gyarados. Gotta love it. It is my one and only Tera Captain I'm bringing to this game. I'm running a bit of a bulky sub-DD set. Honestly, Waterfall and Terraflying Tera Blast feel like all I actually need to really rip through this team. Ideally, I would like to save my Tera for if Alolan Sandslash is off the table, or if I can get that thing trapped in a position where Snow is not an issue, so it can't Slush Rush, just so I am neutral to its ice attacks as opposed to being just fully weak to it. Intimidate does allow me to kind of weaken his physical attackers. Gyarados is mostly my main Rillaboom check, though it can also handle everything else quite well too, especially if I can get behind a sub. I've got the bulk, base 100 speed. Basically, it's kind of speed creeping Sinistcha a bit, specific Sinistcha sets, and some of his more bulky Mons, just to kind of speed creep them. Ultimately, with a Dragon Dance at base 100 speed, even with an impish nature, Wrath will be able to outrun basically everything that is not named Iron Bundle. So that works out perfectly fine for me, while still giving me some overall bulk to be able to take hits, get Gyarados set up, and hopefully tear chunks out of this team. Bulk is pretty much the name of the game here. And that trend continues as we move down to Furnace the Torkoal. I'm going to make a note here. I am not trying to win with Sun in this game. Sun is not my end game, even though I know this could potentially turn to a weather war. Torkoal is here for a few reasons. One is to set Stealth Rocks, because Alolan Sandslash with Rapid Spin is his only form of hazard removal, and if he's aiming to try to maybe Slush Rush sweep me with Sandslash, Say that 5 times fast. I don't think he puts Rapid Spin on it, which, if that's the case, then he has no way of removing hazards. I have a reliable way of removing hazards, especially since this EV spread actually allows Torkoal to, like everything else, eat hits all day and just be a general nuisance. I am running Drought just so I can have that option, mostly to get rid of his Snow if necessary, as well as providing me a way to hit things harder with Flamethrower. I have Earth Power on there for Heatran. Drought will also allow me to proc Photosynthesis on Raging Bolt if I see fit. I'm running Shucka Berry for the item because, as I said, I'm not running Heat Rock because Drought is not my main idea to win. It's there as kind of like a side thing, mostly to address his Snow and kind of rip that away from him. But with the Shucka Berry, Torkoal is easily able to sponge ground-type attacks from the likes of Rillaboom, Alolan Sandslash, and even Heatran, and immediately turn around and threaten them with a Flamethrower or an Earth Power in the case of Heatran. Torkoal is basically a lure in those regards, because those are 3 potential problems that I would love to get rid of if he thinks he has a clear path to wiping me out. Torkoal can just eat the hit, pop the Shucka Berry, and then next thing you know, the tables have turned. Last but not least, we have Arctic the Mamoswine, and I'm gonna be honest, I may have delved deep into Envy's vault for this one, because this is his infamous Chinese AV Mamoswine. I did tweak the moves a little bit, because I've been toying around with the EVs to try to find a spread that worked for this idea, because Mamoswine is actually a colossal threat to his team. He has very little that can actually keep this thing from just running through everything. Granted, even with this spread, I still take a huge chunk from Bundle on a spec set does kill, and obviously I'm not really planning on taking on Rillaboom with it. But Mamoswine can sponge hits from literally everything else. Ice Cold Crash and Ice Shark gives me Ice Stab. Knockoff allows me to remove items and threaten the likes of Sinistcha and Mesprit if they haven't terra'd yet, or if Sinistcha goes Terra Ghost. I'm honestly expecting a Terra Fire Mesprit if he does Terra, just because the Levitate with the Levitate giving him immunity to ground kind of feels like it was designed to stop things like Mamoswine, or Torkoal, or Skeledurs, or whatnot. But I think Mamoswine can do quite well even in spite of that. I'm running high horsepower over Earthquake because, again, I have used Rillaboom, I'm familiar with Grassy Surge, I know what it's capable of. So high horsepower is not nerfed by grassy terrain unlike Earthquake, so this allows me a still powerful, even if it's slightly less accurate, ground move to be able to hit everything stupidly hard in the event I do have to deal with the terrain, so I am accounting for it. So that is our team as we're going to go ahead and flip back over to our locker room, kind of reflect on things here in the Crystal Pool a little longer. And once we are done with that and ready to go, I will see you guys when it's battle time. Alright, it is battle time! Been a little bit since I've done this, so let's see if I remember how to actually play and hopefully win. So we brought Heatran, Sinistcha, Volcarona, Alolan Sandslash, Galarian Slowking, and Mesprit. No Iron Bundle! Interesting! That intrigues me, because I figured it was a very possible bring, but the fact that he doesn't have it is a bit of a weight off my shoulders. He does have 2 of his Terra Captains, though, and unsurprisingly, he brought the Snow. I would not be surprised to see a Heatran lead or a Mesprit lead to set up rocks, potentially. I'm willing to lead Furnace so I can get my rocks up right away and go from there. And we will see how this plays out. See if we can get things going right out of the gate. Pop the sun, pop my rocks. That sounded weird. Anyway, good luck, have fun, Maxis. Welcome to the UNPL Season 4. Ooh, we get the Blueberry Academy field right out of the gate. So he's going to lead with Slowking, which honestly does not surprise me in a sense. He probably wants to get rid of my son right away, which is of no surprise. I'm just going to go ahead and get my rocks up because I have no reason not to, honestly. See how he wants to respond. If he wants to try and hit me right out of the gate, he can. Furnace can definitely take it. And we go from there. Yep, he's just going to Chilly Reception right away, which is no surprise to me. And I am honestly perfectly fine with that. He wants to get rid of my son. I can just bring Torkoal back in and remove the snow later. The snow is honestly not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. All I know is whatever he sends in, I'm getting my rocks up, and we are going from there. Which is going to be the Mesprit. Completely fair. I just get my rocks up, and now we play ball. So, I would not be surprised if he wants to go for rocks. I think Mesprit might potentially get knockoff, which, if that happens, I would hate to lose my Shuckaberry, but I suppose it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I'm just going to stand in Flamethrower to get damage off on this thing. He goes for Mystical Power, which Furnace takes. He's going to boost up, which, fair enough. I'm just going to Flamethrower this thing for some damage. So that is the game we're playing, huh? Well then. I have a couple different ways I could play this. Because Electros's main purpose was basically being a bundle check, and it kind of doesn't need to do that anymore. So yeah, in that regard, I'm just going to go into Power Line. And we will go from here. Maybe I can knock off at least knock off whatever item this thing has. It is not it does not have Tera. Whoa! Game glitching straight into the floor. Okay. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, are you alright? As he decides to just go Tera Psychic, which... fair enough. This Mystical Power is going to hurt a little more, but... it is absolutely fine. Because Power Line is able to take that. He is at +2 now. And I'm just going to Dragon Tail to get rid of this thing. So I did call Mesprit being his Terramon. I'm a little surprised not to see Tera Fire, though. Tera Fire made a lot more sense to me, but... I mean, I guess I can understand. Extra power on from Mystical Power, sorry. Getting my Mystic and Mythic mixed up. He's going to go for it again, which is perfectly fine, because I know Power Line can take it. And then we just go ahead, get up to +3. I'm just going to go ahead and Dragon Tail this thing out. So that way this is not an issue anymore. And... oh goody! It's the Sandslash. In the snow, no less. So I do know this thing is not boots. Honestly, I'm going to send in Dolores, just in case he wants to try Rapid Spinning. I can block that. And then, Skeletor should be able to take an Earthquake from this thing, if necessary. Yep, we are having none of that. So we actually did bring Spin. The snow is gone, which is nice. I legitimately would not be surprised to see a Heatran switch here, just for... yeah, I'm going to set up a sub, because I'm predicting him to go into Heatran, expecting me to Torch Song. So that way, Dolores can start chipping away at that thing. My rocks are still intact, which is really nice. He goes into Volcarona, which I find interesting. That is a really interesting play. I'm going to go ahead and Torch Song. As he Psychics to... Is this going to break my sub? It is! Okay. Good to know. I'm still just going to go ahead and Torch Song, get damage off on this thing. Nice chunk of damage. Now I'm going to go ahead and slack off, because I know I can take a Psychic from this thing. Can take that nicely. Slack off, get my HP back. Dolores is sitting real pretty right now. I'm going to Shadow Ball, because I feel he might... Nope, he's just going to stay in Psychic. Okay, then. I was honestly expecting a switch into Heatran at this point. I have no reason not... Okay. I have no reason not to click Slack Off again. This is kind of getting into a bit of a loop, but... It's a loop that honestly works out for me. Because now I can just Shadow Ball again. Volcarona dies. If you wanted to send in Heatran, that is fine. But Dolores is able to take this. What's in your head? In your head. Zombie, zombie, zombie. I could never do that as well as she could. She was a master of that. Anyway, Volcarona is out of the equation, which is a huge load off my mind. Skeledirge doing her job, putting in the work. So, given how good a spot Skeledirge is sitting in right now, yup, Heatran is of absolutely no surprise to me at all. Air Balloon, huh? Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit you with a +1 Shadow Ball to get rid of that. He goes for Power Gem. And KO. That explains it. Okay. So that's annoying. Because I can tell you right now that crit definitely mattered. Okay, running these calcs, it is clear for certain that this thing is definitely offensive, and that had to be a higher roll on top of that. So this thing's Air Balloon is still intact, which is annoying, but... I'm gonna go into Wrath all the same, though. God, losing Skeledirge really sucked. It's fine, though. It's fine. Okay. Power Gem is nice tech that does threaten Gyarados, but honestly, I'm not too terribly afraid of it. Because I can definitely take a crit. I'm definitely free to just Dragon Dance up in this thing's face. Since I know it's Air Balloon, I know it's not Scarf, so it has no chance of outrunning me with this bulkier build I've got. I do outspeed it anyway, so that is perfectly fine. Just gonna go ahead and D-Dance in this thing's face. This goes for, yep, Power Gem, which, again, I should be able to take, even with a crit. Which, that was not a crit. Are you modest? I'm waterfalling either way to get rid of this Heatran. So, goodbye to you. And Heatran being gone is actually a huge load off to me. Because now, Torkoal no longer has to worry about throwing out flamethrowers. So we are in a good spot there. Into the Alolan Sandslash, which is going to take rocks. If I don't Tera, I should be able to take a triple axle from it at this range. Yeah, he would have to be Life Orb and get a high roll to KO me, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for Waterfall. Rip a chunk out of this Alolan set. And I get the flinch. Well, on one hand, I'm sorry for the flinch, Maxis. On the other, you did crit my Skeledirge with that Power Gem, so there is that. As Sinistcha is going to roll in now to eat up this Waterfall. That is perfectly fine with me, though. Wrath is sitting real pretty right now, honestly. I don't think I even need the sub. I think the bulky DD was all I really needed. So I can just pop my Tera, blow this thing away with a Terraflying Tera Blast, and yeah, Wrath might actually have it from here, believe it or not. So, that is Sinistcha gone. And all he has left are Alolan Sandslash, Galarian, Slowking, and Mesprit. Which, he's gonna go Mesprit. Which is perfectly fine with me. Because I'm pretty sure I should be able to outspeed it, and I don't think... I'm going to go Tera Blast to be on the safe side. It does outrun me! Okay. You're scarfed. And Wrath does not care for that. Goodbye. Scarf Mesprit. Clever. Alright, so Mesprit is off the table now. That just leaves the Snow Tandem. I don't know if I agree with that. I would have... Oh, Ice Shard. Which Wrath is still going to be able to live. Oh, bulky Gyarados. This is why you are a monster that should never be underestimated. And all that remains now is Galarian Slowking. Which is going to take rocks. It can't Regenerator. Honestly, part of me really wants to preserve the 5-0 I've got going on right now. Didn't even get a chance to show off Raging Bolt, but you know what? I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm gonna go ahead and switch into Arctic because with Chinese AV's Mamoswine, courtesy of Old School Envy, I should be able to preserve this 5-0 actually and get a really strong start to this season. It goes to the Psychic, which Mamoswine is able to take. He has Black Sludge, which is completely fair. I'm going to go ahead and fire off this high horsepower, and this should do it. It lives! Fair enough, then. Spadef drop is annoying, but honestly, at this point, I'd rather not risk the high horsepower miss. I'm just going to go for the safe knockoff because I know it's going to hit. That is Slowking out of the way, and that is a 5-0 to start off this UNPL season. So, wow. GG Maxis. I apologize again for the flinch, even if I think it kind of balanced out with the Power Gem crit on Skeledirge a bit. But, yeah, there's a reminder to everyone watching. Bulky DD Gyarados is still very much a threat, even in Gen 9. Do not sleep on it. Because, yeah, that's a heck of a way to start the season. Then again, I'm not going to get too optimistic, though, because when I played Jorge at the start of last season, I did start off with a 4-0, and then things kind of started falling apart from there. So, a 5-0 is a great start to the season, but it is not an indication of how the season is going to go for us, so I am not going to start putting all my eggs in one basket just yet. But there is definitely some hope here. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. GG again to Maxis. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and my Columbus Swoo and I will see you guys next time. Welcome back to the UNPL. Take care, everyone.